Sanbonan, igama lami nguNomfundo wakazama, Mkabayi KaGcugcwa, the Zulu soldier. And I'm sitting here right now and I'm like, where am I going to start? I have had this plan that I've been planning for the past couple of days, where I'm going to start with today's video, how I'm going to take the whole flow. And as the camera started rolling, I was like, feeling like a deer in front of headlights. And I think maybe that is the best explanation, or the best way I can explain how my anxiety takes over majority of the time. When I've got this amazing plan and everything is up to script and I've got this beautiful plan and my brain says, hold on, we're not doing it that way. So I would love for you to have grace with me through this video, because I am now putting my script away and I'm speaking from my heart. And I'm hoping that the words that are going to come out of my mouth are what is intended by Umveli, Idlozi, and the universe to ukuthi kukwazi kuphuma kumina njengamanje. So, let me start from the beginning. Why did I want to do these videos? The reason why I wanted to do these videos on YouTube was to have a community, or find the people that have experienced what I have experienced, even though it has not been exact experiences, but the people who have gone through the journey of self-initiating, people who are struggling with anxiety, depression, and ADHD. Because as a Black woman in South Africa, I know for a fact that culturally in our homes, we are not able to express these things. And I speak of homes because when I speak of my journey, it is impossible for me not to speak of where I come from, or the background where I come from. I come from a beautiful family where my father is a very cultural man, and my mother is a very religious woman, Bible thumping Catholic. If you're a Catholic, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And because of these two human beings that brought me up and the kind of household that they created for me, it made it a very interesting journey for me to find the pieces of me that needed me to be the woman that I am today. So, speaking of my background and trying to understand that, what does it mean for me to grow up in that household? My mother, being cultural, she literally forced us to go to church every Sunday. We would go to church in beautiful clothing that she would buy every single week, make sure we look good, make sure we look amazing, and we'd get to church and would be taught the rules of being an amazing human being, but in a structure. Because as we all know, Catholics have rules and they have structure, and the way that you're brought up in a Catholic home or a Catholic church creates this formality in your life. So you never learn from the structure that you're growing up in to actually think out of the box, you know? And that's where my father came in. My father, as a cultural man, he questioned everything, you know? He questioned why his father was a Nyanga and what he did when he was alive, and the things that he had to help his father as he was a young man, while his father also was a Nyanga. Speaking of my grandfather was a initiating Nyanga, meaning that he had initiates under him, and he was also a Sangoma and a Nyanga together. So that's where the gift comes from. And as we carry on talking, I will go back to how the gift came to me and how I know for a fact that I am destined to be who I am today, which is a traditional healer who is self-initiated, or who's self-initiating. So back to my father. Him creating this really amazing cultural experience for me, where we used to do cultural things when things needed to be done. But his also had some sort of a formality to it, because everything was done by the book, you know. Even if he didn't understand it, even though he questioned it, when he went to a healer and the healer said to him, it has to be done that way, he didn't really question it. So again, as much as that environment was giving me seeking mentalities, as much as the other environment was giving me very centered, structured mentality, it still had a lot of structure. So as a self-initiate, finding out that I am a healer and hearing my grandfather in my ears say to me, you shall never go to a gobela and seek help. You shall be initiated in the realms of this household that you are born in, has been an intriguing journey, a heart-aching journey. It has been such a frustrating journey because I've had to now unlearn so much structure, learn that prayer that I was taught in my cultural and my religious ways, or my religious upbringing, that is not the first thing that I look to. Now I need to sit and listen, because if you will be self-initiating, or if you are going through the process of self-initiating, the biggest thing or the biggest gift you can give yourself is the gift of listening. The gift of understanding when people walk on the side of the road and they meet you and they say they have things to tell you. When you meet people in the workforce and they are so eager to teach you not about the job that you're there to actually learn, but about spirituality and understanding of humankind and how people think, and as the journey continues of self-initiating. And I say air quotes because it's so important to understand that I have looked at my journey in air quotes all my life, because I didn't believe this was a thing because of how I was brought up. And I know right now I've gone all over the place with my thoughts, and that there is an experience of my ADHD. As I've said in the other videos, I struggle hectically with ADHD. So when I converse, I go all over the place, but at the end of the day, I do try to come bring it back. So that is the self-initiating part, or that's my background, where I started and where I come from, you know. And as I carried on, year 2004, I am walking at school and I turn around to one of my very good friends and I tell them this big thing about their life, you know. And at that moment, this big thing that I'm telling them about their life is life-changing, and it is something that has been a secret in their family. And she looks back at me and she's like, that's not true. And I assure her that it's definitely true. That is how I found out that I had the calling, by taking something that is very intimate, that has been told to me by my ancestors, and giving it to somebody else. I need to stop. As you just probably heard, I had to stop the video. And the reason why I had to stop the video is because in that moment, as I was speaking about the time when I realized that I had the calling, all those emotions, all the pain that I've gone through trying to navigate it just came rushing through, and I couldn't control my emotions, so I had to just stop the video. And it brings me to the anxiety and the depression that followed. Finding out that you have the calling and you are knocking on doors that are supposed to be safe spaces for you, and those spaces are not being safe enough for you. And I say safe spaces because this is something I utilize on a daily basis. Like, I utilize the word safe spaces on a daily basis because that's what I believe in. I believe in being in spaces where I can be myself. And I, as uNomfundo, have become the queen of masking my emotions because of walking around the world and not being able to find the spaces that I need to express myself. Hence, I've opened up this platform to have the conversations that I want to have about the pain of wanting to learn more about yourself, but there are no people to help you learn more about yourself. And when they do come along, they are there for a short period of time, because literally self-initiating or self-initiates have these beautiful pockets of human beings where you find these people, they help you through a certain thing, and then they're gone. Or they are in your whole journey, but they only are able to help you to a certain degree. Hence, I said earlier on, it's so important to understand that the journey of self-initiating is more about listening than talking. Being able to hear the universe speaking to you, to hear Umveli speaking to you, to hear your ancestors speaking to you, to hear the people around you speaking to you, because sometimes it doesn't come as just a sound in your ear. Sometimes it comes from the voice of a human being that you've grown to love, or you've grown to even hate sometimes, because we meet different people in our lives. But to go back to what had happened like 2 minutes ago when I stopped the video, the pain of not knowing what the journey has in store for you. In that moment when I told that friend of mine what I told them, and I did not know where it came from, but I was insistent that that is what I had heard and that what was the truth. For her later on in her life, for that truth to reveal itself directly from where it was from where it was hidden, finding out the truth after that, I felt vindicated in myself. I felt like I was not going crazy, because in the time when she had said to me that this can't be true, I also believed what I had said was dumb and stupid. Why would I be trying to hurt my friend? My anxiety became my life then. Depression became my life then, because I'd walk into spaces, I would feel people's energy. I'd walk into spaces, I would hear voices in my head. I remember at the time also, like after matric, I started working for this company in Namaste. I had a very Buratani as my first boss. And if you're South African, you know when I say Buratani what I mean. So this woman that I met, she kind of allowed me to experience my experience and challenge it at the same time. She forced me to go and see a psychologist. She literally grabbed me by the ear and she said, listen, if you don't see a psychologist, you and I can't have a working relationship, because I can see something's wrong. But she didn't know that I was going through Ingulo. And as I'm speaking about Ingulo right now, let me explain to you what I define as Ingulo. I define Ingulo as the journey of understanding that there are pieces of you which are fragmented in the world. Pieces of you that are so important for your growth, your ancestors speaking to you that sound like the rattling of the leaves because you cannot understand what they are saying. It is the journey of hearing everything and anything, feeling energy around you. Part of it is part that you just can't explain, and part of it is mental health. So when I speak of Ingulo, I speak of the traditional pieces of us, the ancestral downloads that we get, the pieces of us that we get from our environments, the energy of the earth, all of that, but also the mental health part, which is the ADHD, the depression, and the anxiety. So when I specifically speak of Ingulo, that's everything I'm encompassing. I know that in the world or in culture or in Intwaso, Ingulo is spoken in a different way. But for me, when I speak of Ingulo, that's what I'm talking about. I'm speaking the beautiful correlation between mental health and traditional healing, or the traditional process of being a traditional healer, or the parts of you that you just don't understand, So as we're carrying on right now, that's what I'm talking about when I say Ingulo. So it was such a journey having to see a psychologist on a daily basis, right? And seeing the psychologist and they telling me that you are crazy. You know, she didn't really say that I was crazy, but she was saying I was crazy because she said that she doesn't understand. It could be bipolar, it could be that, it could be that. She never really had a proper answer for me, and having to go through all that confusion was a lot, But the one thing that she was sure about is the fact that I had anxiety and depression, and knowing those two things kind of assisted, but it didn't really help my journey, because what she did after that, she put me straight on medication. I have been on Music and Concerta from 2006-7 up until about 3 years ago. And 3 years ago was not a matter of that I stopped this medication. 3 years ago, I started weaning myself off. Today, I no longer take this medication. I've got other stuff that I utilize. I've changed my eating habits. I've changed the stuff I put into my body that is allowing me to go through a journey of allowing Ingulo Yam to carry on in a positive way, not in the most destructive way that it's been going through the years. And earlier on, I also said that I'm the queen of masking. Mina nomfundo zama. If you meet me on the side of the road, nobody will ever tell that I struggle from depression or anxiety. I'm always smiling. I am warm. I'm a safe space. You know, I am so many things that do not look like what traditionally is anxiety and depression, because when I'm outside, I'm able to just kind of morph into the spaces that I need to morph into, or code switch to where I need to code switch and be the person I need to be in those spaces. And that on its own has taken such a toll on my mental health, because the whole day I am this person, and when the doors are closed, I'm another person, you know. So the journey of self-initiating, the journey of understanding my mental health has been such a struggle. And again, I say the reason why I've opened up this platform is to find people who've walked through this journey like I have, to say, how have you done it? You know, this is how I've done it, you know. And today, that is all I have the voice for. That's all I can really articulate today. And I hope that next week I'm able to have a better conversation, and the anxiety I'm feeling today has lowered a little bit, because it's taken me such a long time to even just sit down and have this conversation. I hope that I can lend my story to you. I hope that part of the conversation could be something that you can have conversations with other people. And if you would want to learn more, please like and follow and subscribe to the channel. As I said, I'm trying to create a community where I can feel safe. Till the next time, Thokozani, Camagu, Lesedi, Namaste, and Izobonana.